Pride, lust, envy, greed. Today, we're looking at the deadly sins from core timepieces. Now, some people may not live their life by the Catholic or Christian way, but this watch will remind you on a daily basis of exactly what you should and shouldn't do. Now, let's just flip the camera around and dive right into the review. Okay, and this is what we're looking at today. We're looking at the Core Deadly Sins watch. Now, this was sent to me by My Affordable Watch Collection, and I will leave his YouTube channel linked down below, as well as the League of Watches, which is a group that basically we do watches, we send them around on a watch tour, and they go back to the original owner. So it gives us a chance to, go hands-on with watches maybe we wouldn't normally. So this was sent to me by My Affordable Watches. Again, go check out his channel. So inside, this is from a company called Core Timepieces. No idea who these people are. Had never heard them before until My Affordable Watch Collection reached out and said, hey, would you like to review this watch? And I said, sure, I would absolutely love to. I'm always into unique watches. Now, even on their website, basically, there's not a whole lot. They don't go into detail about exactly what is inside. An example is the quartz movement. It just says quartz movement. And I did some research, and I really can't find out exactly which quartz movement it is, but they do say they have a double dome sapphire crystal, Lumabrite, screw down crown, 300 meters or 100 feet of water resistance, 120 click. I assume a unidirectional bezel, and it has a SENS window. Now, this watch is very unique in the fact that instead of offering a date, it has a window of the 7 deadly sins. So first, let's just move the hands right here so then you have a better understanding or a better idea of exactly what I'm talking about. So we'll just go ahead and unscrew this, screw down crown. Feels very nice, feels very engaging. Okay, we're gonna pull it out and then move the hands out of the way. First thing I'm noticing right off the bat is the hands. If you notice, the hands are like a switchblade. That's very nice, very unique. Never seen anything like that before. So you see right here at the 9 o'clock position, you have the SENS window. So you have wrath, envy, envy, pride, pride, lust. Looks like there's 2 of each one. Gluttony, greed, sloth, and back to wrath. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty different, maybe if you're feeling a little religious or you're feeling maybe a little bad about yourself and you're like, God, I need to be better about the way I live my life. And you're like, God, today I should be less wrathful. Probably not. Anyway, let's go ahead and pull this out. Let's see exactly how the window works when it comes to the 7 sins. So it looks like we're nearing midnight. Clicks over the first one just about midnight. And then about 2 hours later, clicks over into the second one. Don't know why it's set up like that. It just appears to be. Then we'll go through, rotate it all the way through. And yep, same thing. Into pride and into pride around 2 o'clock. So not too bad. I'm not a fan of quartz. I'm just not a fan of quartz movements, only because at the price point of what this is, which is like $250, I feel like you can do better, especially when it has to do with a micro brand. Now, I mean, again, I just feel like it could be better. Okay, let's just check out the bezel action first. They say 120 click, unidirectional. And these are nice hard clicks. Let's see. And it does feel like it is clicking every one. Yep, so it's 120 click. That's nice. Everything seems to line up perfectly here. Okay, so let's talk about the details of this watch. First, let's go ahead and look at that dial. It does have like a really nice dial. It's nice. It has a nice sunburst. It just, I'm not normally a big fan of like silver style dials, but I think they did this pretty nice, pretty clean. 7 cents down just above the 630 ATM, 300 meters, quartz stainless steel. And then core at the 12 o'clock position, you see it is a C for the core, and just baton hands all the way around, no minute track. And then of course the 7 deadly sins window there at the 9 o'clock has brushed all the way around, and it does not have a signed crown, so that's a little disappointing. Let's just go ahead and take the strap off. We'll do some measurements, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of this watch, or at least my personal feelings after having it for a little bit of time. So it does have a screw down case back right there. If you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. That's interesting. Quartz movement, all stainless steel, screw down case back, again, of course, screw down crown. Let's go ahead and get the calipers out. So the case size is just under 42 millimeters with the crown. It sits at just over 46. The lug to lug on this bad boy is going to be at 50, almost 50 and a half, lug to lug, and then the actual lug width is going to be just at 22. Perfect. Last but not least, it is almost 15 millimeters high. So this is a chunky watch, and the footprint on the wrist isn't too big, but it does sit a little bit big. Now, the first thing I did notice about this watch is it does have some heft to it. Now, they say that this does have a double dome sapphire crystal. It doesn't say anything about whether or not it has AR coating. Overall, I think they did a decent job with this watch. I think the hands could have been detailed a little bit better. I mean, when it comes to hands and when it comes to putting print or etching on hands, it's extremely difficult, especially because they're so small. But this is a slightly larger watch. It does have a larger footprint. This thing is very hefty, but I feel like if you're gonna have a quartz movement inside and not an automatic movement, why is it so thick? It doesn't have to be almost 15 millimeters thick. It could be 13 or 12. And to have the same water resistance rating, it just doesn't need to be that thick. I feel like they added a little extra chunk, a little extra heft, sort of like Vincero. They are quartz movements, and a lot of people say, well, when it comes to Vincero, they feel like they're worth more. I feel like that's what they did. They added a little bit more weight, a little more thickness to the case material, maybe to the overall size, just so it would have the impression of being worth more. Is it? Honestly, I don't think so. I think that this is a $250 watch that really is worth about $100. So that's, let's just put it on the wrist, and then you can make your own decision. Now here it is on my 7¼ inch wrist. You can see that it does sit slightly big, but not overly big. Now I've worn bigger watches, and in no way is this overwhelming or overbearing. Now on the NATO strap, it does fit pretty comfortably, and this is a supplied NATO strap. And honestly, it does have a little heft to it. It does feel like it should on a bracelet, not just on a NATO. But overall, it's comfortable. And does it work as a dive watch? Sure, this would absolutely work as a dive watch. 300 meters of water resistance, does have a 120 click unidirectional bezel, and it is pretty solid. I don't like the sunburst silver dial. Honestly, I think the way they did it, it just makes it seem a little cheaper. If this thing had maybe I know this sounds funny, like a flat black dial or a flat silver or something like that, I feel like it would make the colors of the 7 sins pop a little bit more. I feel like it would, I don't know. There's just something about the way it looks. It just looks cheap to me. Now, it doesn't feel cheap. The movement feels cheap. The quartz movement in it does feel cheap. It feels like a Timex watch, right? Like a cheap Timex watch or a cheap, No, a cheap Timex, like a Timex Expedition. That's what it feels like. Except I feel like the Timex Expedition is just a little bit better. But is this going to get you through? Yeah. Is this quirky? Is this fun? It is a quirky and fun watch. If you can pick this up for less, I would recommend doing it. Their automatic watch should be priced at their quartz watch, and their quartz watch would be priced lower than that. But again, is it a fun watch? Yeah. Is it a little too expensive? I honestly think it is, but it's still fun. It's still cool to see companies doing things that are different. Again, it's hard in a watch community where you have, you know, a lot. Oh, and this is something that I noticed too. I just remembered. I noticed this earlier, and I just noticed, what is this? Look at this. If this is a sapphire crystal, why is this chipped? It makes you wonder if this chipped because of my affordable watch collection or if it chipped because of quality control issues. But that was one of the things that I noticed almost right off the bat, is it's either deformed or it's chipped, but that is a no-go in my mind. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I being too harsh? Am I being too harsh on this watch? Am I being too harsh? Or am I telling you exactly how it is? Cool and quirky, but a little disappointing. I think that this would be better if it was cheaper. Then I could give it higher praise, but for the price point right now, I think it's just way too much for what they offer. Okay, so what do I think about the Deadly Sins from Coretime pieces? Honestly, I don't think it's a bad watch. I think it's fun and quirky, and it's a little different, especially the hands of the watch, which are a switchblade knife. I think that is a little different than what anybody else is doing, and it's one of those little things that you're not really going to notice right off the bat, but you'll notice once you start looking at the watch. I think it's cool that they offer the 7 deadly sins instead of a date. I think that's cool. I think the way they sort of went about it, I think there could have been a better way to do it. Now for $250, yeah, you are getting a dive watch that offers 300 meters of water resistance. However, for $250 in today's world, you could get basically an automatic watch for $150. So the pure fact that they offer it as a quartz watch to me just seems a little too pricey for what this is. And honestly, I think the build quality is fine, but I think that when you start manipulating the crown and everything else, it just, you know, it sort of falls apart. So honestly, I think they could have done better. But overall, I mean, if you can get it for a lower cost or get the automatic version for cheaper, because they offer an automatic version, but it's $400. So to me, again, it's just a little too pricey for me. If you guys are interested, I will just leave a link below to their main website. Now, if you like videos like this, hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment of the content you guys would like to see on this channel. I have a lot of videos coming up in the future, so make sure you guys are hitting that notification bell so you can be notified when I drop that next video. Until next time. Oh, it's 300 meters of water. Oh, it's 300 meters of water resistance. Oh, my bad. We're going to start all that all over again. Hold on. Okay.